All right. And yeah, we are live. So yeah, we'll just like I said, we'll pretend that we're back in Jamaica now. On the mango tree, I think it's probably mango season now. So,
Man, I miss those East Indian
oh
mangoes.
my God, I'm telling you, I keep saying that I can't wait to get home like during mango season.
Yes,
And
yes.
sorry American friends, there's a big wash pan of mango on the tree. Turn off my phone. Do not disturb. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so we'll just hang out for a minute, give a
Yeah,
maybe some folks will join us, and if not, we'll start and they get to see the replay. So it's all good.
that's all good. Are you the kind of guy who sits over a bucket of mango and just eat till you're sick, or
Yeah,
are you
but
that kind of guy?
I have never done that, but we're gonna find out.
Oh Lord, yeah.
I've never done that, but the last time I was in Jamaica and saw mangoes kind of flowering and coming on the tree, I just had this nostalgic feeling of like I kind of forgot what that looked like.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what you get from living in New York all these years, I think.
Well, at least in South Florida, when I was there, at least you could grow mangoes. I grew avocado. I grew an East Indian mango tree. So,
Mm,
so that's the beauty of living down south. To get a little bit of your Jamaican with you. I had an
yeah,
ackee tree and everything.
yeah, exactly, definitely. So it is
Yes,
what it is. All right,
yes.
so yeah. Hey, Carolyn, thank you for joining us. Where are you joining us from?
She says there a video. She
Huh?
can't see it. She's saying, "Is
It's
there a
not
video?"
a video? Hmm, that is crazy. Um, yeah, I'm just.
Carolyn, can you see us?
Is there a video? Why is it not showing? Show up on stream.
Technology.
Yeah. So I can't post to some destinations no more. I'm not sure why that would be. Hmm. LinkedIn post read.
Well,
Everything seems fine on this end. So Caroline, obviously you're hearing us. Not yet. No video yet. Wow.
let's see. Let me
Um,
check in.
Cam. I'm gonna switch the camera for a minute and see.
Okay.
Let me switch cameras here and see.
Benjamin said he can see video.
Oh,
Carolyn can't, but Benjamin can.
oh yeah. All right. I just switched the. Okay. Well, so now my face is hidden. Let me
Yeah.
switch back to the original camera and see how that works one more time.
I can see video. When I turn on my LinkedIn and I can see video.
Okay. All right. How is that now, Caroline? Talk to me.
She says, okay. She said, please continue.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, guys, I get to hang out with my really good friend. You may have heard us talking and probably wondering, what are they saying? That's what happens when two Jamaicans connect. But I get to hang out with Sharon Gill today. And hey, thank you for joining us. Feel free to chime in, ask questions. We like this to be interactive. Otherwise, we can get carried away. But Sharon, thanks for hanging out today. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Especially when I meet up with another Jamaican. It's just good times for me.
Yeah, I know, I know. Let's not have too much of a good time. As I
Okay.
said, people are like, what are they saying? Are they
Okay.
speaking English? But as the title there says, purpose centered leadership. We want to spend some time kind of chewing on that a little bit. But before we do, because I know that's right up your wheelhouse. That's your new passion, right?
Yeah, it's my passion.
Yeah,
It seems new, but it's been brewing for a long time. Just
yeah.
brewing for a long time.
But before we get into that, let's talk for a little bit about your background. We know you're from Jamaica. We'll establish that. Tell us some more.
Well, I came here when I was 22 years old and lived in New York for about 27, well, no, for about 10 years. Um, Came here as immigrant, worked as a nanny for like a couple of years, and got involved in American Express and kind of went up the ladder there, and moved to Florida after a while. And my husband and I, we began a law firm together in '97, and we ran that together for 20 something years. In between that, I ran a charity for about 16 years. And last year we decided to pack up the charity, pack up the law firm, and moved from Florida to Charlotte to start our second act. And at that point, I decided to embrace the whole, consulting, leadership, coaching. Right before this pandemic happened, and I had embraced the online world. And so for me, I'm getting to do my passion zone in a convenient way from this desk in this chair in my room every single day, just working with corporations and executives and entrepreneurs. And that's a nutshell. That's a nutshell.
Yeah.
20, 30 years in a nutshell.
That's it. You just give us a cliff notes, huh?
Cliff notes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I was sharing with you the other day. In my former life, I was in the Army, and I was at Sandhurst. And for my American friends, the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst is a British equivalent of West Point. So I remember, on my it's called passing out. Doesn't mean you fainted. Graduating or graduation, and so you can imagine the pageantry, and as we concluded the whole exercise, marching up the grand entrance of this building, Old College. Now at Sandhurst, the motto is serve to lead. And, I got there, I saw it, and, it just was a very more an academic kind of exercise or phrase to me. But it's as strange as it sounds, in the moment that I marched up those grand entrance and, symbolically in that moment became an officer. So now I know this was for real. I wasn't going to be training and being evaluated and given feedback anymore. This is, hey, I'm going to be leading men. That term, serve to lead, just kind of hit home to me. Mm-hmm. And it has informed my view on leadership and in many ways, and how I try to interact and influence others. And so I certainly believe in the concept of servant leadership, but I kind of, and you can help me out with this, I see purpose-centered leadership as a very kind of the step up, right? Servant leadership is you serving and leading the people who are with you, but purpose-centered leadership is going beyond that to do something bigger than just yourselves.
Perfectly stated. I mean, I couldn't explain it any better. And I love servant leadership. I think it's one of the best forms of leadership in terms of, putting people first. The leader, model off Jesus really, where, he's the leader, but he was washing feet, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole point of servant leadership is serving your team and having that compassion, that empathy. So it's an awesome leadership model. With purpose-centered leadership, I want to take the best parts of servant leadership, but which is more internally focused, but then take that to the outside, where now that you're a great company, what are you doing to help the cause, to help the world to become a better place? What are you doing that's bigger than the profits, bigger than those who are inside, that can really impact how we live in our communities? Because your people, they live in these communities. So how can we collectively then, as a leadership, as an organization, impact those that are outside? Mm-hmm. And something, Devon, and a lot of times we see these initiatives, right? Like we see diversity and inclusion, and we see companies hire like a chief diversity officer, but then a year or two after that position is either no longer, it's very ineffective. And the reason for that is it was not in the company's, what I call DNA. The CEO never really bought into that. It was a position, it was the right thing to do, but there was no real leadership. There was no real buy-in. Well, it's the same thing with purpose-centered leadership. Unless the CEO, the leader, or the founder, unless they embrace that, ideology, so to speak, of like, look, we're going to have as part of our core values, as part of our strategic plan, that we're doing this thing to impact our community. We're going to have a stake in making things better. And we're going to lead our entire team from the mailman, the guy in the mailroom, all the way up. That this is part of our DNA, what we do. We go beyond these walls and we impact out there. That's what I push with purpose-centered leadership.
Yeah. So you said it's been brewing for a while, but can you think of a catalyst? What was like that one thing that made you go, this is the direction I need to be in?
Yes. So I told you I run a nonprofit for 16 years. And what I saw was that I had corporations who were helping me, a lot of corporates. But there were those who wrote a check and say, hey, here's $25,000. And believe me, I love that. But that was a check that they wrote and then they were gone.
Yeah.
There were those who wrote checks for $10,000. But then they said, we want to help you with your strategy. We want to come alongside you. We want to send you some volunteers once a month. We want to embrace you. I became part of their corporate structure in a way. I was their outreach piece. And it was a different relationship. And I noticed that the staff, the team, the employees at this company, they felt good about where they worked. They saw the big cost because these companies would actually bring in all these nonprofits once or twice a year to just give reports and to get the team, riled up. And the employees actually contributed to that grant program. So everyone was involved. And it was just so different when I see that corporate partnership. I saw the difference from the corporate side, how their people were. And then I saw the difference from my side, how we responded and how we felt supported. And I just felt like if every company, no matter how small you were, Devin, if every company would adopt a charity, a mission, a startup, a grassroots agency, come alongside with just even some of your skill sets, some of your, expertise and give to this agency. Together, you could really build something in the community. And I'm really, really passionate about that. So when I retired from the brick and mortar, I wanted to continue the work, of like informing corporations and helping nonprofits to be ready to accept that kind of help. Because nonprofits sometimes they struggle with leadership, but man, they have a good heart and they have a good cause and they just want some help behind them, Yeah. And it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
And I guess that's one of the primary differences too between, say, for-profit and a not-for-profit. Their whole reason for being is usually because there's a higher purpose.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. They're just mission-driven, very little pay, usually, at least the ones that I've known, very little pay, but boy, they have a big heart and their volunteers have a big heart. But the difference that donation makes, it could be $500. And if it's a constant, and it's just, I keep saying such a win-win, because that 500 means almost like 5,000 to a nonprofit, to a small nonprofit. Yeah. Nothing much to the corporation, but it just gives them a sense of, we're actually giving and impacting. So every life that the nonprofit touches, the corporation can take credit for some of that because they're allowing it to happen.
Yeah, let me ask you, how would you define purpose, Sharon?
To me, I feel like God created each of us, right, for a unique thing, a unique task. The Bible said that He created us with works in mind, right? Something that we were created for us to do here. So purpose is that thing that's bigger than your current existence. It's aspirational. It's like, I feel like, my purpose in life, for me, for example, after searching for it for years, is to empower people and I don't care if you're poor, average, or rich, to empower you so that you could live up to your best life, right? So for me, whether you're paying me or not paying me, that's what I'm going to get up every day and do. And so many people don't really know, right? What is their purpose? I'm doing a job, but I don't feel fulfilled. Something is missing. Then you're not operating in your purpose. Yeah. You need to have the sense of actualization and fulfillment. That's purpose. That's purpose on a personal level. And on a more corporate level, it's going beyond then. If you think of the corporation having a purpose, it's going beyond the corporate life to something bigger that you can do. And that's why I said invest on the outside. Yeah. So that's kind of purpose.
Awesome. Hey, Leon, thank you for joining us. Great to see you. So I agree with you that, especially you touched on corporate social responsibility. And for some companies, it's, that kind of activity is really just so they can get a tax write-off. And so there's, there's no real commitment. There's no real investment in the projects that they're taking on. And so they're not really caring about making a difference in someone's life, as you said. It's not so much about moving beyond themselves, but real purpose at a corporate level is about moving beyond profits.
Exactly.
And it's about becoming great and not just growth. And by that I mean great in terms of the impact that the real impact that you're making in the lives of people, not because of economics, but because you're because you're concerned.
That's right.
And caring, and you want to see people thrive, as you say, live their best life.
That's right. Devon, you're from Jamaica, like myself. Do you remember Lifebuoy soap?
Yeah.
Okay, so the company that makes Lifebuoy is called Unilever. They're the company I talk about the most. They are a true purpose-centered company. Lifebuoy, right? So Lifebuoy is sold in third world countries, like where we come from, like Jamaica and stuff. But what I like about Lifebuoy, what they do, they tie Lifebuoy profits in these third world countries, where they take some of that profit to teach sanitary behavior, to help third world countries. They put plumbing into third world country. They teach washing of the hands so we can cut down on diseases. But that's directly tied into the profits of Lifebuoy. So while they're making money selling the soap, they're also using some of that money to teach you how to avoid getting sick in these third world countries. That's when you really tie purpose and profit together. You see what I'm saying? So it's a win-win. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And no matter what level you're at, my level, your level, we can tie in what we do with a cause that is going to make everyone lift up.
And so touching a really great point, because when we've spoken mostly about the corporate level, and we're talking about purpose-centered leadership. And when we think of leaders, we tend to think of this guy or girl with a title, a position. Although the fact of the matter is that every single one of us are leaders in our own right? Because we influence. And so purpose now becomes the kind of impact that you have. Now, the fact of the matter is someone who is just starting out in life personally, or even a small company, might go, well, you're talking to me about impacting lives and changing the world. And I'm here trying to change my world. I'll tell you what I think about that, but share your thoughts on that.
Yes, it's easy for people to think that, and honestly, when we're self-absorbed, first of all, Devon, when we think that way, you're going to doom in business right away because you don't have a growth mindset, right? You need to have a stretch mindset. So you look at it and you say to yourself, okay, is there a soup kitchen or a food bank that I can take some food from my own cupboard, a tin of beans, and go give in my, as my gift?
Right.
That's the beginning of disciplining yourself to give back. And I believe in the karma and reciprocity, right? So you give, you're going to get. May not be the same way. And you're going to develop that culture of wanting to give, because guess what? The more you give, the more you want to create and make more money or whatever, have more resources to give. So giving actually is one of those spiritual disciplines, I think, that actually allows you to actually grow. It sounds backward, but the more you give, the more you're going to get, so you can give.
Yeah.
There's a thing my husband said to me once. He was reading something in the scriptures and he said, Sharon, God gives seed to the sower. I'm like, what does that mean? He said, just think about it. God's going to give seed to the person who's going to sow it. And it's the same way with your corporation. If you're giving, you're going to have the resources. You're going to get the resources that you need to give. It's just like a law, like all these laws in the universe.
Right.
You're going to get so you can give. And so the mindset should be like, even though I'm starting, what can I give at $20, at a $20 level?
Mm-hmm.
Give that thing and develop that attitude and that mindset to be a giver.
Yeah, because you're creating an abundance mindset as well.
That's right.
And I agree with you. No, the thing is, I see it as, so you're starting out, and I get when people are, more focused on their journey in the beginning, whether it's personally getting out of like I think of myself, trying to get out of Olympic Gardens, Waterhouse, for our Jamaican friends, right? Or your company, and you have like the last $500 or the only $500 that you need to invest to get things started. I can see and understand the focus there, but I believe that as you start on your journey and you start to enjoy some success, you have to now start thinking about not just changing your world, but changing the world around you. And that might mean, getting that can of beans and taking it to the soup kitchen, or even just investing your time, man. Because a lot of people seem to think that it's, giving back is all about money. No, the thing that is even more precious than your money is your time. And if you're tying that into, hey, me investing this half an hour, or whatever it is that you can invest is going to make the life of somebody else better, dude, you're on track. You're on track to living a purposeful life.
I'm so glad you said that, because it is true, Devin. When I had the charity, I had a computer class. I got all these IT guys and gals, they came over and they gave me 1 hour each night to teach these adults who were computer literate. Poor neighborhoods tend to have that issue. That means I didn't have to hire anyone to teach, because I had all these volunteers rotating and teaching. Their time to me was priceless. And then I eventually got staffed by a 90% volunteer force, which meant that the nonprofit could put the money towards just the services, because the other parts are being covered by people who are giving time. So it's an amazing point. And you can definitely just start with an hour, even an hour a month. That's giving back. That's giving back.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for joining in. I'm kind of curious as to any thoughts you might have about, not just serving, but pursuing a purpose. Because when we are, and I speak about this all the time, when we're in our jobs, the way you are conducting your business, running your business, the way you connect with that purpose is by looking above and beyond your job title and job function to see how what you're doing is actually making a connection, making an impact that is beyond the job, beyond the title, right? So we, I'm a motivational speaker. I get up on stage, but that's not, and I love that. And I say all the time that when I'm on stage, I feel like I'm on purpose.
Yeah.
But the purpose is not giving the speech. The purpose is the opportunity to impact a life, to say something, to tell a story, or share an insight that is going to inspire someone, as Sharon said earlier, to live their best life, to become the best they can be. So I'm kind of curious, guys, if you feel moved to join in. I'm kind of curious as to how you view that. But yeah, Sharon, it's I think we're on the same page here. We all of us have that role to play outside of ourselves, right?
Yes, and you mentioned, you love being on stage. You're a motivational speaker, and it's not just about the money. Yes, that's a wonderful benefit. We're not going to discount that, but the reason why you feel so on purpose is because the impact that your words, are having on people in the audience. Right now, you're doing a live stream, right? So you're not getting paid for this, but you're trying to bring teaching to people who follow you, right?
Yeah.
And so we each have a platform, or we can create a platform. You can even start there. You're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube. That's a platform. You may not be on stage like Devin, right, getting a lot of money, but it's a platform. You could start with that platform and just influence, for good. The world needs that. That's purposeful living. You're giving back, you're serving. Servant leadership, and we talked about a little bit too, is all about listening and responding and serving and making people better and leading from a place of humility. Well, you can do that with the platforms that we have now. Devin, when we were growing up in Jamaica, right? When I was growing up, there was no computers, so that's how long ago that was. But
I'm not that far behind you. I'm on your heels.
First time I saw a computer, I think I might have been 20. It was so, and it was just DOS, and so there was no computer, there was no platform, there was no way for us to have a voice, right? We did, as a matter of fact, growing up in Jamaica was you're seen but not heard.
Exactly.
Now, children are seen but they're not heard. Now we eat from my 4-year-old granddaughter who loves YouTube and trying to get her own channel at 4 to the 84-year-old person. We all have this platform. We all have this medium to go so good, to go say purposeful thing. So I believe like we're without excuse, Devin, right? I believe we're without excuse. And I tell people, man, just show up because God's giving you something to say. Just show up and start saying it.
We all have something. Yeah. We're talking about our Jamaican background, and I just kind of came to me earlier as I was kind of getting ready. I think his name is Chronix. He has a song where he talks about I'm going to translate for my American friends. He does it for the love. He doesn't do it for the likes, as in the likes that you're talking about using technology, right? He's not doing it for the likes on YouTube and Instagram and wherever else. Whatever he's doing is because he loves it. He's doing it out of pure love. And then there's another guy, Bounty Killer, who talks about, don't let the name scare you. But he was just talking about his way of giving back by mentoring up and coming reggae artists. And he does it. He doesn't sign anybody. Because he doesn't want it to be about business. He says he does it for pleasure, not for treasure. And, it's kind of interesting because sometimes you look at these guys and think that they're not deep. And that's deep. That is really deep, right? And that is purpose right there, doing it for pleasure.
Right. Right. Exactly. And so, when people are watching and they're thinking, what do I have? Right. There's someone who's watching you. You mentioned earlier, Devin, that we're all leaders, right? What is a leader? A leader is a person who is influencing some other person. So from the very beginning in your home, the husband, the dad, the mom, we're leaders. We're leading the kids. We're influencing the kids. So that's where leadership starts. It really starts with you influencing yourself, leading yourself. But
absolutely.
Then you have these people who's following you, right? And so that's leadership. And what are you doing with that leadership? What is your impact like? What are you saying with it? And who are you mentoring? Who are you bringing up? And these are questions that people, especially now, we have such an opportunity to influence. We can use it for bad. We see that. And we can use it for good. But purpose-centered leadership, of course, is all about using it for good. So indeed.
Wow. So Sean, this has been great, enlightening. We could, because we're Jamaican, so we could go on and chat forever and ever. But guys, I want to thank you for chiming in, Sharon, and talk to us about. I know you do some speaking and some coaching, so talk to us about those offerings, how you serve and bring value to clients.
Well, I help entrepreneurs, mainly women, but I do have some men. I help them to gain clarity to start their companies. I help them to develop their leadership skills, become better leaders. I help them to I'm a business strategist. I also coach teams in these organizations. So I coach the leaders and their teams. And I just really love it. I just love to see a person take their concept into reality, right? So I help them take their idea from concept sometimes to reality. And that could be from just starting a business or from the concept of here I am in my business right now, but I want it to be over here. Okay, so I help them with the strategies to get from here to there in the process, companies want to grow their businesses, but they have to first grow themselves as leaders. So when they hire me to help them grow their business, it's a two-pronged approach for me. I got to help you grow you first, so you can be ready for the business that we're growing.
Indeed.
You got to be the leader for that business that you want to be. So
Yeah.
that's my love. That's what I do. I coach individually or I coach groups.
Doing it for the love and not for the
For
like.
the love, not for the like, not for the like.
Oh, good. And of course, we have your website streaming there, SharonGill.com, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you can find her as she work for pleasure and not treasure.
Amen.
Yeah. Sharon, thank you so much. It was so awesome hanging out with you.
Same here. Thanks a lot, Devin.
Of course.